There's people that are, those days are over. Outbound's dead, right?
I love that rumor is spreading because number one, it just means that less people are going to be getting into the game, which means your phone is going to be buzzing less, which means now you're more receptive to when it does actually buzz and it's a legitimate offer.
This is why I believe that every business owner out there should not try to build their own call center. I think the business owner has to ask themselves this: is this the best usage of my time?
But what you just said, if you're only allocating 25% of your time, that means you're only managing this business 25% of the way. And you name me a single business that you can only devote 25% of your effort and expect that it's actually going to be. So I was in the home services space. I've owned an HVAC company, which we exited out of. I've owned a solar company, a very large solar sales organization. Both of them needed leads. Obviously.
Yeah.
And it still is. It's just ridiculously overpriced.
But I was going to tell you, not everybody can afford, right, Google AdWords campaigns.
No. I think of what every business goes through, which is that they start getting leads coming in, and the leads come in, and you're shelling all this money out to these various channels for marketing, and the leads are coming in, and then that's where they go to die.
Yeah.
Right? Because no one calls the damn leads. Right? And so we were no different than any other budding company at the time, which is that leads were just dying because they would come in and they weren't being called fast enough. The speed to lead was terrible or non-existent.
Yeah.
And so we hired a VA. And then the VA was calling these leads back. And lo and behold, things got better. What a surprise, right? We got lucky, which is highly unusual. This almost never happens in this world. We got lucky. This CSR. And so sure as shit, she started cold calling and booking a few appointments here and there. And I was blown away. I didn't think that would work. I didn't have any experience in that department at the time. After that's when the story gets real wonky all over the place. At that point, I started developing relationships with people in the call center space, starting to make connections in the call center space, and all kinds of random people, some legit, some not legit at all. It's been a challenge. It's been a blessing and a challenge for us because obviously, now I'm kind of like guilty by association just because I'm in the industry, and so many people have a little bit of a negative connotation because they once went and hired some call center to buy pre-booked appointments from them, and what a shocker, got terrible results out of it.
You need someone that you can hold accountable, right? When you're hiring a service such as yours, they need to be able to pick up the phone. They need to be able to locate you, right? Let me hire somebody from the Philippines, and then nobody's accountable.
One of the biggest mistakes that I see people make by far is they think, okay, well, there's not that many components to a call center, right? You need some agents, you need a script, you need a dialer, you need some phone numbers to call. How hard is that? And then I always have to remind them, I'm like, yeah, but who's going to actually run the show for you? That's like, that's like building a brand new house with no foreman on the site, because even rock stars will be great for a day, a week, or a month, and then start letting you down.
If you need 3 VAs, you probably want to hire 5 to 6 because they're like 50% of them might not work out.
50%, and we're very fortunate because of our hiring practices now that we've got our retention rate upwards of about almost 70%.
This is why I believe that every business owner out there should not try to build their own call center. Here's the problem, right? I think the business owner has to ask themselves this: trying to find the right agents, train them, right? Manage them. Continue to train them on a weekly basis.
QA
track
every
their
one of their
KPIs.
QA their calls. How about
track their KPIs, quality assurance, right? I mean, instead of building this HVAC company or this roofing company that's going to make millions and millions of dollars, even if you're only occupying 10 to 25% of your time on having to manage this internal cost center you're attempting to build, it's going to distract you from the bigger picture, which is making millions. They try to build these call centers because why? Because everybody's always looking to save money. But here's what they don't understand is it's actually going to cost them more money. And it's not just going to cost them more money. It's going to cost them more time and more energy.
Bingo. Number one, you don't know what the hell you're doing. And you need to, as a business owner, you need to be able to look in the mirror and be like, do I know jack shit about this new thing that I'm about to get into? If I don't, I should probably just go hire the best.
And then focus on what I'm good at.
Focus on the thing that I'm the best at.
That's right. Brad always says he's like, man, if we can't keep your business, we don't deserve it, right?
Right.
Same thing.
That's right.
When it comes to doing what you do.
That's why I don't even have any contracts on the management.
Is it month to month?
Yeah, it's month to month.
Month-to-month agreements.
I don't even do the bullshit of like, you must give us 30 days notice. I don't even play. That's bullshit. Any company that does that, you should never do business with them. If we're not performing for you, if that call center isn't what we made it out to be, you should fire us. Please do.
A lot of people are saying Outbound's dead. Outbound's dead. Proactive, guerrilla marketing, it's dead. Nonetheless, there's people that are still knocking doors, making millions, and there's people that are still doing outbound cold dialing, right, that are still making millions, right? What's your perspective? Is outbound marketing dead?
You already know my answers. I love that rumor is spreading because number one, it just means that less people are going to be getting into the game, which means your phone is going to be buzzing less, which means now you're more receptive to when it does actually buzz and it's a legitimate offer. Because if people run around thinking that, oh, look, Outbound is the best, well, then everyone's going to get into the Outbound game, and then your phone will get destroyed with all the nonsense calls that you get, because most of them are probably scammy calls.
Yeah.
And then you just stop picking up your damn phone.
Yeah.
Right. And then it is really dead. So I love that people think that it's dead because it opens up the doors for the honest business people who actually play this game correctly.
Why is your production, right? Why is production still very high, and why are blue collar businesses like HVAC and roofing still making millions on outbound dialing?
That's what I was going to say. It's like you guys can think whatever you want, right? The general public can think whatever they want, but I can show you proof to the opposite all day long. I can show you the hundreds of appointments that get booked every single day across all my clients. I can show you all the sales that they're generating as a result of them. Let's look, for example, let's look at solar and let's look at roofing, which are actually very, very similar. Their lifetime value is one, right?
Boom,
they get
done.
to sell somebody one time, and that's pretty much it. Most likely you'll never hear from them ever again. I think the average person buys a roof 1.2 times in their lifetime, right?
Makes sense.
So you get to sell them once, and then you'll never hear from them again, which means in order to pay the bills tomorrow, you got to get a whole brand new lead again. Right? You don't get to sell anything to that existing client base, which sucks, right? No one likes that. Now let's flip, which means that they have to get pretty sophisticated at lead generation, or they at least it has to be top of mind, because otherwise they will go homeless. Right? They have to constantly get new leads, which means they need to be somewhat in tune with different marketing channels and different forms of lead generation, whether it's door knocking or paid advertising, whatever. Right? They don't have a choice, otherwise otherwise their lead source dries up. Now let's flip that coin and look at the industry like HVAC. HVAC is very different. HVAC is more of a need-based thing and service-based thing, where you sell someone a system once, they may have to call you back 6 months from now
for maintenance or something
broke, or they need something fixed, or they want to add something on. So a lot of HVAC companies can be pretty unsophisticated when it comes to the marketing game, because they can get so reliant on their existing pipeline. In other words, a lot of them don't even need to engage in any sort of paid advertising, because they could theoretically just live off their existing pipeline and just wait for the phone to ring. Just wait until it gets hot and the ACs break down, wait until it's cold and the furnace doesn't turn on, and then boom, now you're making money again. So a lot of these HVAC companies don't have to really participate in any sort of paid marketing, and as a result, they can get a little pretty complacent.
Blue collar business owners are such great technicians. If you line up 10 blue collar business owners against the wall, 9 of them don't know how to market efficiently.
The other big thing that I see happening is a lack of investment into a good CRM for having a good system for following up with leads, and more importantly, for following up with the people that said no. Look, I talk to company owners, and fairly sophisticated ones, all the time on a daily basis. They only win if you win.
That's right.
I don't make any money if my clients don't make any money. It's the only way we win. So the proof is very much in the pudding.